What's going on YouTube? My name is FG3000. I'm back in the place to be and welcome to the last and final mobile gaming tier list of 2019. So around this time next month, this entire list will be cleared off and replaced with brand new mobile gaming contenders for 2020 vying for the S rank crown. And I for one cannot wait to see what mobile gaming has in store for us in 2020. I've gone on record multiple times saying that in 2020 one more time FG, that in 2020 it will be a pivotal turning point year for mobile gaming. It's not going to be the year that everyone just like overnight starts to respect mobile gaming. That's not going to happen just yet, but it is going to be the year that minds begin to change. And hopefully for once, FG gets a prediction right. I want to be sitting in 2021 looking back being like, hey, past FG, you were actually right about something, and being like, hey, future FG, thanks for that. You are right. You are right too. But before we get to any of that, ladies and gentlemen, we do need to clear out 2019. So let's go ahead and take it from the top. But before we get started, a quick refresher, because I feel like since this is the final video of this series for 2019, a lot of new eyeballs are going to be in this video. They're not going to see all of my previous videos. So let me kind of show you what my ranking looks like here. So S rank, that's pretty straightforward. Don't means don't play. But I think the most clarification needs to happen right over here in the middle. So C rank I consider to be average, just an average game. D is below average, and then B is above average. So when you think about the mobile gaming landscape, most mobile games are just average or below average. So that's why a lot of games kind of sit in these two ranks right over here. Don't think like grades in school or anything like that, where D is just like a failing grade. You can be perfectly happy playing a below average or an average game, all right? So that is that. Now, before we move into the brand new games, as far as all of these old games that are on the list, at the very end of the video, I will go through every single one of these icons and tell you exactly what these games' names are. So if you've never seen this list once again and you don't recognize the icon, but you want to go and look up the game, don't you worry. FG from memory. Yes, man, I'm a child of the mobile gaming game, ladies and gentlemen. I do it all off top. No script, none of that. We'll go through every single one of these icons. I'll let you know what these games are. So that's that. Now, one last final step before we move into the new games. A little bit of housekeeping. So I went through every single one of these titles, and I did not see any title that needed to move other than Spirit Wish. So Spirit Wish currently is at F rank. We're gonna move that up to below average, right up here at D, because I did make a mistake. I misinterpreted, or I completely didn't know about the offline progression of Spirit Wish. So we're gonna move that up to D, below average. I still think the game does have a lot more issues beyond the offline progression, but that was one thing that really kind of irked me about the game. So considering that, that's gonna move up to D. So that is that. Everything else is gonna sit right here. This is where these games will sit and immortalize in 2019. So let's move on over to the newest game, starting off with a Black Desert Mobile. This is supposed to be the mobile gaming like mecca. This is supposed to be the game to change all minds. And I really love that we do these videos outside the honeymoon period, because my first day or so playing Black Desert, I was feeling it. I was drinking the Pearl Abyss Kool-Aid. What it tastes like, FG? Purple. But the more I played the game, once I kind of got over the allure of the graphics, the combat, the character creation, when you actually log in and play every day, the game feels like any other mobile MMO. In fact, I don't even really want to call the game an MMO, because there's really no social features. There's really not a lot of interaction with other players. It almost feels like, for me, from my gameplay sessions, like an idle combat simulator. So for that, I'm 100% gonna say it's not the mobile gaming MMO that's gonna change everyone's minds. It's pretty typical. So with that being said, as far as its ranking, it's gonna be right over here at C, which is just average. It gets a few more points, obviously, due to the fact that, once again, the graphics, the combat, this game has tremendous streamlining and quality of life, some of the best on mobile, that really makes the game quite easy to play. Like, if it didn't have all that streamlining and quality of life, people would not be logging into this game every single day, because it would be very chore-like. But this game does not have that. I feel like, and I say this all the time, it feels like the developers actually play the game and they try to eliminate things that were redundant and things that would cause burnout in their player base, other than the actual gameplay loop, but we'll talk about that in a second. So it's gonna be over there at C. I know some people are gonna kind of look and be like, wait a minute, FG, are you trying to say that Black Desert and World of Kings are on the same level? Yes, but actually no. So these games have very different strengths. Like I said, Black Desert, graphics, combat, streamlining, quality of life. You have the future that is so bright with Pearl Abyss. There is no doubt in my mind that this game is going to be around for a long time. Pretty much every class in the PC version, I'm pretty sure, is going to be added to the mobile version. So it has a lot going for it. However, no social aspects, no real dungeons. Like the dungeon that it does have in the game is just really lackluster. And that is where World of Kings is very strong. World of Kings is very strong on social aspect, is very strong when it comes to character creation. Better than Black Desert. I'm not talking about designing characters. I'm talking about having a multitude of races that are not gender locked and a multitude of classes as well. Not to mention that this game actually has dungeon content and raid content as well. So these games, while they're both C rank, they have strengths in different aspects. So World of Kings, in my opinion, is way more MMO than Black Desert. And like I said, if I had to really make up a genre for Black Desert, it'd be an idle combat simulator with pretty graphics. That's Black Desert right there at C. Let's keep it moving. The next one, since we're on the mobile MMO kick, we're taking a look at Bleach Mobile 3D. Yeah, this one's, for me, this is like the epitome of what everything was wrong in the mobile MMO sphere. The red dot simulator, all of the different meters and crystals and bars and breakthroughs that you have to power up. This game, make no bones about it, it's a cash drain. It's literally it's designed to basically drain money out of you every month while giving you more bars to fill up over and over and over. And they try to pretty it up with a bleach skin on top of it. And that's going to convince a lot of players. I feel you. I understand when you have your favorite anime as a game. I get it. I understand. However, at the core of it all, it's still an old school, bog standard red dot simulator, auto path, auto grind, auto combat, auto questing, mobile MMO. And once you get past the allure of Bleach, it's not going to be a game that you're going to spend any time into. The only people that are going to be playing this game are going to be the people that have whaled out and feel like they want to make good on their investments by continuing to play the game. Let me give you a little word of advice from FG. Just because you spent money in a game doesn't mean you have to play it forever, all right? You never get that money back. So with all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to get an F. Sorry, Bleach fans, it has nothing to do with Bleach. Let me assure you, it has nothing to do with Bleach and everything about the whole red dot simulator mobile MMO thought process and philosophy in their game design. So that is where Bleach is going to be. The next game up is Battle Breakers. So this is Epic's shot at a hero collector without a gacha, which you got to give them points on that one. So I compared this game a lot to Destiny Child, where it's kind of like a game where there's lots of pretty colors, cool attacks and ultimates and bosses that you kind of sit back, you lit idle, and you collect things. And that's kind of the way I kind of interpreted it in my first impressions video. And if I had to, keep in mind Destiny Child did not come out this year, but if I had to put Destiny Child on this list, it'd be right over here at C. So that's gonna put Battle Breakers at a D, due to the fact that the art style is nowhere near as amazing as Destiny Child for obvious reasons, and the fact that the game is starting to be like, hey, people are mad at our game for having so much auto content. Let's start adding more manual content, which sounds good on paper. I understand what they're trying to do. They're like, wait a minute, we can solve this real easy. But here's the thing. The manual combat isn't fun either. like making people do the manual combat, I don't think it's a good move, because I just don't think that the manual combat is that engaging or fun or something that people are going to clamor to at all. So I think they're going in the wrong direction. I feel like this game, as many years as it sat in the oven cooking, it should have went a completely different direction. The only thing I really like about Battle Breakers is the fact that it has the Epic backing, which is a ton of money to be poured into the game. So that's good from a longevity standpoint. And the fact that it has a killer soundtrack and cool characters. But other than that, very below average experience, even when you play the game on manual, which they assume is the biggest issue with the game, but it's really not. So that's that, Battle Breakers. Moving on over to the next one. If you guys don't recognize this icon, this one is called a Time Reversal. This is a more active version of Brown Dust and Night Zero that I actually had a ton of fun with. My only real reservation with this title, which doesn't make me very optimistic, is the fact that I'm very unsure about the future of this game and its long-term support. It doesn't have a lot of downloads, not a lot of people are talking about it, so all of that kind of stuff in the mobile gaming sphere, as vicious as this market is and as competitive as it's going to be in 2020, doesn't sound good for the longevity of the title, but that would be a real shame. Hopefully, if this game dies, and I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but if this game dies, I hope that another developer takes a look at this combat system and employs it into a future title, because the combat in this game is too good to die with time reversal. If it's going to die, I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I'm just guessing. You know I don't do good predictions. But I'm actually gonna put it on the same level as Brown Dust. I'd actually put it, like, if I actually rank them on a level together, I'd actually kind of put it above Brown Dust if it had clear supportability and future proof. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I knew the developers were gonna stick around for a while, but I don't know that, so it can't go there. So Brown Dust, in my opinion, is still the safer bet between these two, but I really do like the combat system and the little twist that it put on the whole action strategy RPG grid-based combat system there. So that is where time reversal will sit. Moving on to the next one, this is Might and Magic Era of Chaos. So my first hour with this game, it was terrible. I hated it. I did not want to play it. But after I played it for another hour or so, I started to like it. And then the final hours, I didn't really like it that much. But to my surprise, there are a lot of people that really enjoy this game, and they were able to kind of overlook the really old school graphic style here. And the reason why the game looks so old is because this game has been out in China for several years, and Ubisoft decided, hey, we want to jump into the global market. We want to show mobile game players that we are here and we're coming to the mobile market to make our mark, ladies and gentlemen. So to do that, we're going to throw out an old title from years ago from China to show them our commitment to mobile gaming. I think that was a bad move. Even though, like I said, the actual core gameplay, a lot of people are really enjoying this title, I still feel like they could have given us a more up-to-date game as they're jumping their foray into the mobile gaming. As Ubisoft, as a big a company as they are, they could have done a better first impression. So for me, Might and Magic Era of Chaos, right over there behind Battle Breakers, below average title. My first hour, I would have put it at an F, but the more I played it, the more I actually kind of liked it. I wish it was just more up to date and didn't feel like it was so ancient. But there you go, Might and Magic Era of Chaos. So our final little cutie waifu icon right over here is called Abyss Horizon. This is a relatively newer ship waifu hero collector that I just did a video on a few days ago. And kind of like my overall thoughts on this title is that the first hour or so in this game is really gonna weed out a lot of potential players, and that's a bit unfortunate, but it is the fault of like a poor tutorial, not great translations. But if you can get through that really bumpy period in the beginning, there's actually a pretty good game waiting for you after that. Fantastic 2D art, good 3D combat models, lots of different gameplay modes. My only reservation for this title is that since it is a smaller title from a company that I've never heard of, with a game that doesn't have a lot of downloads, as far as longevity and update schedule, I have no idea. It's up in the air. It's one of those games where if a lot of people do download it and start playing it, it should be fine. But how do you get to that point? So far, it hasn't gotten there. But as of today, I do think it's a pretty decent title. Not like the greatest, so it's only gonna be right here at below average. It does have some issues like lack of enemy variety, and like I said about the whole longevity thing, I think is a real big flag. So there you go, Abyss Horizon right there at D. So our next contender is Crossing Void. Crossing Void is a hero collector with an all-star cast of anime characters, but not to worry, all the anime characters that make their appearance in this game are all officially licensed, so you don't have to worry about this game getting shut down because it's bootleg or anything like that. This game has a ton of great quality of life features, but this game's whole claim to fame is its combat and animation system. Yes, the animations were pulled from their fighting game, but in my opinion, that is a pro, not a con. But if you want me to mention a couple of cons, I will. I kind of feel like after you play this game for a month, you've pretty much seen it all. I kind of feel like they're not gonna last very much longer with doing this whole loop of, hey, you just pulled a Kirito out of the Gacha banner, so go use that Kirito to fight another Kirito that looks exactly like you in an event with just a slightly different background and slightly different background music. I don't feel like they're gonna last very long with that being their whole gameplay loop and their event cycle. They gotta think outside the box. The game for the global launch is being developed and published by the developer. So I would really hope that they have the ability to try to do something different. I don't know what they can do. Of course, I'm biased. I would love to see these characters fight big bosses like minotaurs and dragons and things of that nature. I get a little bored beating up on Asuna and Alice all the time, but that's just my opinion. So when it comes to Crossing Void, I still think it's a stellar title. I still think it's worth your time. But like I said, I feel like after your first month, you might feel a little like me. So Crossing Void, it's going to be average right over there at C rank. Moving on over to Iron Saga. Now, Iron Saga really caught me off guard and continues to catch me off guard. Had I, like, picture the scenario. If they trap me in a room for an hour, right? Which is kind of like my life in my apartment anyway. But if they trap me in an hour for an hour and told me to just to play Iron Saga and then come out and say, do I think that this game will appeal to the viewers of my YouTube channel? I would say no. I would be wrong because there's a lot of people that really enjoy Iron Saga. So I can't really see it. So my score is going to reflect that. But this game is probably one of the few, if not only, mecha waifu collectors that we have available, but it is very antiquated. This game is like 5 years old in China. It shows the translations have been improved, but the game is still very clunky. So for me, Iron Saga, not any higher than D, below average. But like I said, there is this niche hardcore audience on this channel that really enjoy Iron Saga. So for you, don't listen to FG, enjoy yourself. But for me, if I'm kind of trying to think as objectively as possible, I feel like all the things combined with this title don't make it any higher than just a D rank. So there you go. Our final 3 games of the video, don't worry about these 2 right over here. Will one of these games be the only S rank title of 2019? Who knows? But I will tell you, it will not be Lumia Saga. Lumia Saga is your typical tried and true cartoony mobile MMO. It doesn't do anything out of the ordinary whatsoever. It's a red dot simulator with auto pathing, auto combat, auto questing, and in a world where World of Kings and Black Desert Mobile exists, I just don't really see anyone playing this game at all. But it doesn't do anything bad. It just doesn't do anything great. So right over here, D rank Lumia Saga. First there were 3, and now there are only 2 titles remaining, ladies and gentlemen. Will we see an S rank title? Do keep in mind that Sword Art Online Alicization Rising still, gotta say, its full government name is one of FG's favorite titles of 2019. It's a title made by the developers that brought you Another Eden. Look at Another Eden way up here at S rank. They also brought you Dan Memo. If Dan Memo came out this year, it probably would be like right over here. So with that type of pedigree, surely Sword Art Online Alicization Rising still full government name has to be a top ranked title. I like this game. I think the graphics are great. I think the combat is great. I think it's just a couple of gameplay and a couple of quality of life features away from being a fantastic A-ranked title. But for now, it gotta be a high B. So that only leaves PewDiePie's Pixelings as the only hope for 2019, ladies and gentlemen. Will we see an S-rank title? No, we won't. So that will do it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. That is the final tier list of 2019. Cannot wait to see you guys in 2020, January, starting off fresh. Hopefully we have a slew of new titles in that month so we can get this tier list out and going. So now it is time to end the video off. For all the people that may or may not know what all these icons are, I'm starting to lose my voice, but don't worry, I'm gonna do it for you, ladies and gentlemen. So starting from the top, Landgrisser, AFK Arena, Another Eden, King of Fighters All-Stars, Magia Record, Last Claudia, Sword Art Online Alicization Rising Steel, full government name. This one is called Evertail. I got it wrong last time. Review Starlight, Ooh La La, Idle Adventure, Captain Tsubasa, we have Mario Kart, we have Final Blade, we have Fishing Island, Island Adventure, World of Kings, El Chronicle, Alune, Dawn of Isles, One Piece Bounty Rush, Rangers of Oblivion, we have Ragnarok Online, Eternal Love, Brown Dust, we have Time Reversal, Fist of the North Star, Dragon Champions, Black Desert Mobile, Crossing Void, Forge Fantasy, Lynn the Lightbringer. Oh, dang it. It's like Aurora. It's an idle game that has Aurora in the title, like Aurora I forgot. Skylanders, Overhit, Mobile Legends Adventure, Valkyrie Anatomia, Night Zero, Astro Chronicles, Saint Seiya, Venus 11, Ever Adventure, Aurora 7, Last Valiant, Ion, Legions of War, Perfect World Mobile, Shikigami Myth, Second Galaxy, Soul Worker Zero, AFK Cats, Tales of Win, Dungeons and Dragons, Warriors of Waterdeep, Talion, PewDiePie, Pixelings, Elder Scrolls Blades, Era of Legends, Axe, Attack on Titan Tactics, Digimon Re-Arise, we have Mirage Memorial, Spirit Wish, Battle Breakers, Might and Magic Era of Heroes, Abyss, Horizon, Iron Saga, Lumia Saga, Attack on Titan Assault, Yokai Spirit Hunt, Witch Weapon, Trials of Fate, Pokemon Masters, One Punch Man, I forgot the subtitle of the game, Saris M, Raid Shadow Legends, Raid Shadow, yeah, I was like, is that the name of the game? I've been memeing it for so long, I actually forgot the name of the game. Soul Seeker R, Bleach Mobile 3D, we have under the Don't category, we have Harbinger's Infinity War, Smite Blitz, Gate 6, Rest in Peace, Durango, Rest in Peace, and these two icons over here are extra. I think this is actually Elune, and this is El Chronicle, I think. But you can't delete icons in this for whatever reason. So that will do it! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, once again, my name is FG3000. Hope you guys have a fantastic new year, and I will see you in 2020.